everybody, welcome back to My Slice of Freedom. My name is Caitlin, and in this series I talk about all of the things that interest me, that I'm passionate about, such as sewing. It's so exciting. Right before I started filming this video, I just published my first YouTube video, which I kind of comically named how I started my sewing journey as a delusionally confident beginner, which I often refer myself as in real life. So welcome back. If you have watched that video, if it brought you here, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't seen it, I'd love for you to go watch it, even though it's me kind of rambling, ranting about my sewing journey and how I've been doing slightly more advanced patterns without actually having the skill set to maybe really do those patterns. I'm figuring it out anyways, and I think that you would enjoy it or at least find it relatable. So anyways, for today's video, I am continuing on with my wardrobe dream series, where it's just all of my sewing projects and me ultimately trying to sew my dream wardrobe. So I recently made Becca Berk's Sunburn dress. That's what she called it in the video, and I thought it was really cute, even though I'm going to try my best not to get sunburned while wearing that dress. I'm going to be sharing my process and a little bit of my final result. Unfortunately, I did not film the entire process sewing the dress, so this is not in any way a tutorial, but I thought some of the things that I learned in the process of making it and some of the adjustments I made and the ones that I still need to make would be helpful to anyone else that's interested in making her dress. I went into this a little bit already on my Wardrobe Dreams Instagram. You can definitely go ahead and check that out if you want more in real-time updates on my sewing projects. But there's definitely a lot more that I want to talk about that I wasn't able to squeeze into that quick reel. If you haven't already seen Becca Berk's Sunburn dress video, I would definitely recommend going and checking that out. She goes into a little bit more detail about the tutorial and her process of making it. But I did do a reverse image search on the final result of what her sunburn dress ended up looking like, and it is a very trendy style. There are a lot of different versions like Free People, and there are some other websites that have their own version as well. So this dress could be a dupe for those if you're interested in that style. So first and foremost, a lot of the things that I loved about the dress. This dress was fairly easy to sew together. It came together very quickly, and as I've stated many times before and made a whole YouTube video about, I'm a delusionally confident beginner, which is kind of a play on what people call a confident beginner or an advanced beginner, which means that even though you don't have a lot of advanced sewing experience or knowledge, you try to tackle more advanced patterns and projects. So I've made tiered and gathered skirts before, and this skirt was both of those, so it was fairly intuitive for me, and I was able to sew it up very quickly. I decided to make the dress out of a thrifted bedsheet that I got at Goodwill while I was visiting my grandma in Oregon. It was probably about $5 or so. It's just a regular white bed sheet. It has a little bit of stretch to it, and I believe that it's a cotton viscose blend. It's very soft and absolutely feels like you're wearing a bed sheet. I definitely want to make this dress again with a few of the tweaks that I want to talk about. I also want to use the fabric that she used in her video, which I believe was a cotton gauze fabric. There's just so much fabric included in the skirt. It's really flowy and it drapes well, but it really weighs it down. It's a very heavy skirt, especially with the bodice only being a front piece, with just being the straps in the back, so it does make it backless. So I think that any lightweight fabric would be a lot more functional when you're wearing it out and about. I also really like that she gave instructions on how to draft the bodice and the neckline to your measurements and preferences. It was super easy for me to draft the bodice and the neckline of the dress, which was honestly a relief after printing out so many pages of more advanced, complicated patterns. I just wanted something that, you know, were a couple of easy mathematical equations for the skirt, take your measurements here, and you could have your own pattern block for the bodice. So I really enjoyed that. It was a nice break. I will say, with how it ended up looking on mine as the final result, once I put the straps in and gathered the bodice and the top of the neckline, I wish that I had made a more dramatic sweetheart neckline. I thought that I did that when I drew it out, but the way it turned out gathered all together, you just can't really tell that it's supposed to be a sweetheart neckline. It just looks like a regular scooped neckline as opposed to having the curves here with the point in the center. So for this fabric that I used, I need to adjust how the straps hold it on to my body if I want it to be a functional dress that I wear often and continue to reach for again and again. I did wear this dress for the 4th of July recently. I went and watched the fireworks in the park, and I was not running around. I wasn't even walking a ton. I was just sitting in my chair most of the time or laying on the blankets, and it was pretty uncomfortable to wear the dress the whole entire night. The weight of the dress just pulled everything down. The straps were kind of cutting into me a little bit on my shoulders and my back. They were kind of falling off. I had to keep adjusting them and pulling them down because just the weight of the dress, the way it pulled it down, it would pull the straps up in the back. So that's something that really bothered me. I'm not exactly sure if I made enough straps or put them all in the right place, so that might be user error on my part, but the way that mine turned out, those tiny straps were just not enough to secure the weight of the dress on me in a comfortable way. So I think what I'm going to do is replace the back strap with a thicker elastic strap and cover it in bunched fabric so it kind of matches the bunched fabric in the front on the bodice. This is going to change the look and style of the dress slightly, so it's not going to be the exact Sunburn dress anymore, and it's not going to be an exact dupe for any of those other trendy dresses, but it is going to be a lot more comfortable for me and much more functional, which is going to make me want to wear it more. So because I'm planning to replace this back strap with a thicker elastic and fabric cover, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the top strap. Like if I'm going to tie it up as a halter or even try to attach it to the back elastic like I did before with the strap there. So that is to be determined, but I'm sure it will turn out nicely whichever way I decide to do it. This dress really stands out because of the gathers in the front and it being backless with the ties. So as long as a lot of my back is showing and it's really open and flowy, I think it will still give the same kind of feeling and be really beautiful overall. Another thing about the bodice that I will be changing, and something that was a little disappointing as the dress came together, is that the proportions of the bodice are not flattering on me in my opinion. So the way that she has you take your measurements is kind of where you want that neckline to go, and then under the bust here, and then where the skirt attaches at your waistline. And at least the way I calculated everything, I wanted it to be a little more modest, so I think I made the top tier a little bit too big and then mirrored that onto the second tier of the bodice, and so it just didn't end up looking right. I have a really short torso and more of a straight up and down shape as opposed to an hourglass shape, so I think it would be much more flattering if I shortened that second tier right under the bust. I just think that it would minimize that waist area and make it look, you know, maybe give the illusion of more of an hourglass shape there. That middle tier is just a little too long for my body type. In a lot of the garments that I make, I try to build a lot of structure into them to kind of give the illusion of that, you know, hourglass shape. And this is a beautiful, flowy, drapey dress that kind of falls on your body, which is really beautiful in and of itself, but in application, I just need something with a little bit more, you know, illusional curve to it to help me out there. So I think I just need a few more nips and tucks here and there to give the illusion of a more hourglass shape, and I think changing the proportions in the tiers of the bodice is really going to help with that. When I asked this question on my Instagram reel, someone commented that they also made this dress and they had the same issue, so they decided to take in the bodice where it connects to the skirt so it gives these little cutouts, which gives the illusion of a more hourglass shape and kind of nips in your waist a little bit more. That's definitely something that I considered, but with that type of fabric that I used and the skirt already being so heavy, I think that if there was less fabric on the bodice of where the skirt attached, so less fabric to hold up the skirt, I just don't think that that would go very well. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to attach it to less of the bodice to try to give little cutouts in the front of the waist. In theory, I think it's a really good idea, and maybe if it was a lighter skirt, I would try something like that. I think those are pretty much the only adjustments that I will be making. Overall, the dress was really easy to make, and my motivation stayed pretty consistent throughout the process. Love it when that happens. It gets over 100 degrees here in the summer and it's really dry, so this dress will be perfect. I'm hoping with the adjustments and alterations that I make to it, it will be a dress that I reach for again and again and will just suit these summer days perfectly. Here's the final look of how it turned out with my cute little hydrangea headscarf. I also made this for the 4th of July and styled it with my Sunburn dress. I happened to have the fabric on hand and it matched the red, white, and blue color scheme that I needed, so that was a very quick and fun project for the 4th as well. I can link that video tutorial below in case anyone else is interested in making that. So that's it. I hope you found this helpful, and let me know if you are also making the Sunburn dress or if you're considering making it or have plans to make it. I'd love to know how it turns out for you and any alterations or adjustments that you needed to do to it to make it suit your body or just your preference. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.